Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kavya, and I am the founder of whydance.org. Today, I have a special guest with me, so if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Malathi Pentapalli, and I am a IT professional, and I have a very high respect and passion for dance.
Great. So, how did you start getting into dance? Like, tell me about your journey from the very beginning.
I never learned dance as a child, but when I'm talking about 15 years ago, when I had my two kids after I was married and I came here, I was very much interested in learning dance. It was always the thing that I wanted to do. And I attended one of the style classes with adults, and it just, caught my interest more and started to learn more Bharatanatyam. And then I continued my journey for more than 7 years. And I have been learning, I learned from three different teachers all over everything as an adult. From kids to pet. And there are different forms of dance styles that I've learned. Everything is Bharatanatyam, and underneath there are different styles. Like Raghu is more classical, very traditional temple dance, I would say. Then I have form of Malathi as well, and then the other one is the Tanjore style. So these are the different styles that I have learned. Each one is pretty similar, the same set of foundation steps and the Margam pieces, but again, they have a slight variation with the hand gestures or movements of the eyes or some variations in little that continued further and I started to work as a dance teacher. Then I started to work myself and grow and add more students and started to teach. I've performed a lot of, in a lot of community events and as well as also being actively involved with organizations like event management, and it gave me a platform to continue, enhancing those skills. Recently, I've actually applied for an apprentice, two apprentice programs, one with the NJ Council of Arts, and the other one is with Philadelphia, Institute of Pure Dance, and I'm actually working for the dance performance company right now. So, in a sense, the journey for learning dance is never ending. I continue teaching adults and kids, and then I'm continuing to learn myself new forms of dance. One of the ones that I more enjoyed is the classical folk dance, and then I'm trying to more get my feet wet into learning what I call is yoga dance. So, yeah, this journey still continues.
Yeah, so it's still going to continue for a long time then, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so like I know you like named a lot of dances and you started relatively later than a lot of people do. But like why did you start? Like did you have something specific that kind of like sparked your interest?
Yes. I feel like from the beginning, I have a very expressive face. That's what everyone keeps saying. And I watched a lot of movies and Indian classical dances. Like Shobna is one of my favorite TV dancers. I think I always wanted to learn dance. And I
Mhm.
felt like it kind of gives you the discipline and a grace. It adds grace to your body. So I always wanted to do that. Since I had two boys at that time, I never had the opportunity to make them learn as kids.
Mhm.
So I jumped in, I think. And looking at these, especially the teenagers and young girls, when they're prettily dressed and actually performing and dancing, that just motivated me and wanted me to learn and start the journey there.
Great. So like what is it now that you like love about it like the most?
So now I see that this has become part of me. It's more like it's helping me definitely improve my focusing. Any form of art, for that sense, does that. And I can see myself looking more beautiful and graceful. And the part of the dance, it keeps me kind of fit, and I see that it also adds. I want to stick to my roots and my culture. So I think this is one form I could have learned other forms of dance. But being from southern part of India, I only, and then with the teaching and the teachers that were available here, I think this form of dance was closely tied to my cultural roots. So I think I like to continue more of this.
Great. So you do Bharatanatyam, right? So is there like specific like types that you do or
That's what I was talking about. Yes, the specific types of Bharatanatyam that I'm doing right now is one is the classical folk. So basically, trying to add the folk rhythms or lower folklore, and then those tales, especially from the tribal, the fortune teller stories, using Bharatanatyam though, in the sense the steps and the abhinaya and the expression, the hand gestures, just to demonstrate their stories. So that's kind of very interesting. And the new thing that we're learning right now as part of the dance performance company is to Irish music, to Shakespeare stories. We're actually
Mhm.
using Bharatanatyam to be able to tell those stories. So I feel like this dance is helping me tell that story, learn more about other forms of music, and gain experience in also connecting to that folk kind of art, which is what my more interest is also.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never heard like that you do Bharatanatyam with like Shakespeare stories or like even like different types of music. Like I've never seen that before. So that's really interesting. Is there like multiple like dance like companies and places that do that now or
Yeah, so this one is one, as I said, like in Philadelphia. And I actually like the best part of it is it's all like adults. And it kind of I'm not gonna say it's like a complicated thing, but it's a team help to learn from each other. At a stage, this one of them is like very very good at Odissi. One of them is good at Kalakshetra, Kuchipudi. So it's kind of like different dance forms, and it's like meeting everyone, being connected, and being able to share their learning experiences and exchanging. So there's one in Philly that I've heard, and then there's one, as I was telling you, in New Jersey. I'm only familiar with these. I'm sure there are like tons of
Mhm. Yeah.
forms.
Yeah. So, like, I know there will be some people watching that who may not know exactly what Bharatanatyam is. So, if you want, you can, like, explain a little bit of the history and, like, what it is and how we do it.
Yes, Bharatanatyam is one of the oldest classical traditional dance forms. The very key part about this is expression. As they say, that is just the way your facial expression, the body movements are talking. They are the ones, I would say, the mode of speaking or the language. Yeah. And there are other forms of classical styles in South India, Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, and so on. Odissi. I think this one is, as I said, a more the whole dance is kind of performed. Most of the dance is performed in what we call is a different posture called Aramandi, which is basically, as you know, the accent. And there are three there are very less steps or categories that are with a sama, which is a standing posture. There are three different postures, and there's all the way down, which is Coromandel. And this also has tons of value, and especially telling you about how you kind of be straight out and your improvement of your posture at the back, and then balancing. It teaches the way to, even I would say most of the hand gestures are also helping you tone your muscles. This is one very good way where you kind of help tone your body as well. And then there are different yeah, sets of, it's a combination of a lot of steps, and then added to that, a combination of a lot of slokas, kritis, south ones, and then you add to a lot of the melodies to go from there.
Yeah. So
Every single part of the part of the body can be utilized to be able to show or demonstrate, and that's called abhinaya. So it's kind of putting together the hand gestures, facial expressions, movements of the eyes, and everything. So that's the whole idea about this, expressing using the whole body language.
okay. So do you think you could show us something?
Yes, I actually was gonna, yeah, I may not be about to show, but what we tried to do recently is, one of the starting points for Alarico, is one of the starting pieces that you learn right after you graduate from learning all the basic steps. So what we started to do is, sometimes it's good to be able to kind of learn in a different style. So we started to work Alarico with a different type of music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more EDM, it's more modernized music, with modern instruments rather than even traditional ones. So I'm not going to show you the whole Alarico right now, but I would
Mm-hmm.
like to kind of at least just show one maybe basic one step from there.
Okay.
I don't know if you can. Oh, are you able to hear?
Yes.
Okay. So, what I was trying to show you is every step that you are doing here, every movement, if you see, kind of the hands are going to follow the leg, and then the eyes are following the hands, and then the whole expression is kind of, that's where you see the abhinaya. So yata hasta tata bhava, and yata bhava tata abhinaya. So it's kind of showing you the whole thing put together. So this is just a sample. As you've seen, I've used different hand gestures. I've used my footwork, which I don't know how much could you see. And I was trying to use my movements of the eyes and kind of movements of the neck in this case, and the different body movements that are being used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could hear the music pretty clearly, and that was way different than the Alaripu like I learned. So it was actually very
Yes.
interesting.
So I think like nowadays, like I mean, again the traditional steps are intact.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to make them sometimes work with, modernized instruments, or as I said, work towards, I'm going to use some of these steps towards some of my Shakespeare tales. I don't know, a folk dance maybe, but again, I'm not breaking out of my roots or neither doing anything
Mm-hmm.
like a fusion here. I would not call this fusion.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. It was like essentially the same steps, just to more modernized music.
Correct.
Yeah, and so we couldn't really see your legs, but I just like if you want to explain, we can explain better the Aramundi and Muramundi and some about them if you want.
Sure. As I said, like there are three. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'll try to move around. But if I can, it's okay.
That's okay. We can show like with our fingers.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So,
So.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good, good
Like
thinking.
this, when your legs are shaped, like we call it like a diamond mostly, right? And that's Aramundi. So that's
Yes.
like half bent, right? If there anything
Uh-huh.
else you want
Yes,
to.
that's true. That is correct. Happen. And then when you are in straight out with no
Yes.
movement,
So
that's
your legs are straight like this and together.
that's sama.
Yes. And
And then
then all the way down. So you bend like this and you bend all the way down. Here is Moramundi.
correct.
Yes.
So these are the most three important postures for Bharatanatyam.
Mhm. Yeah. And I know like in ballet, when I did ballet, there was a certain way you had to like run and stuff. So also like with Bharatanatyam, you have like a certain way to walk, like if you want to explain.
Yes, like you told about ballet, I always relate to that. So there is some, again, correlation between different forms of,
Mhm.
dance styles. Yes, ballet has what you call plie, right? Is that
Mhm.
what I think is kind
Yeah,
of close
plie. Yeah.
to Armandi? That's what I
Yeah,
would
it's
say when I'm
similar. Yeah.
yes. And you were asking about the, what did you ask?
Like walking.
Yes, walking. So there are different ways. So so one of the arrows I do want to talk about that. It's called Tattvametta. Again, arrows are a series of steps with slight variations put together in a set, I would say. And in Tattvametta, because the reason I'm talking about that is it has a relationship towards music, Carnatic music, which is a sort of the Satinat Adavu has what we call is these musical notes. If you're familiar with Indian classical Carnatic South Indian music, you would hear those ragas and the beats, the syllables. So the syllables are pretty close to that. So takkita, takka dhimmi, takka takkita, takkita takka dhimmi, takka dhimmi, takka takkita. So there are five variations in there. So the first one was Takita, which is a three beat, which is called Tishram. So if you go talk to anyone who knows South Indian Carnatic music and say, hey, let's do a Tishram Alaripu, there is a three beat Alaripu. So that's what it is. So you can use that to do the walking. And the way it goes, I'm not able to show my footwork again. It's like tap, keep, it's like a tap, tip, tap. So that's what it is. And then you can use that when you're trying to move around the stage for your transitional steps or in order to walk, as you mentioned. So it more goes, it was like tap, ki, da, tap, ki, da, tap, ki, da, tap, ki, da, tap, ki, da. You use that towards that. And then
Mhm.
there's tap, ka, div, mi, four beats. So everything again in Bharatanatyam, very precise, very strict on the beats and how it aligns to the beats and the syllables. The Takkadimi is four beats. It's called Chatushram. Again, you can do Alari for any dance, again in four beats. You can go tap, ka, di, mi. So it's like tap, tip, tap, tip, tap. That's kind of how I can explain you.
Yeah.
So that's a four beat. Similarly, you have a 5/8 is a khanda, is a takka, takkita, takka, takkita. So the takkadimi you could use for, again, transitional towards moving around the stage. There are kind of mostly like, or you can even, if you have learned Ganesha Slokam, Bhushika Vahana, any of the slokas, you can embed within Tishram or Chatushram. So Dakka, Dimmi, Dakka, Dimmi, Dakka, Dimmi. It's me transitioning into this, onto that, to the movement. So you can use these audible variations and basically moving around the stage, is what I call. Like when you do a ballet, I'm sure there's a way to you spin around and move around the stage and try to get that space around.
Right. Yeah. Also, like what you were doing, like we can see clearly, like your face and how your eyes were always following to the different sides, and your head was following, and which is very similar to ballet because a lot of times you're following your hand with your eyes and your head.
Sure. So that's kind of put together. So it's like your focus is not just the feet, your focus is not just the eyes, it's the whole entire usage of your whole entire body. More,
Right.
more like a body language to
Like even with just walking, you're using like your whole body and you're squeezing your body to keep your posture straight and everything. So,
Yes.
right. Okay. So that was great. So I know like you said like you love like you just have like this intense interest in Bharatanatyam and dancing in general. And so why do you think that my generation should continue with this, with all of this Bharatanatyam and classical, even though we're growing up here and not necessarily in India?
Yes. Again, you can pick any form of art. I would say art in general helps you focusing. And I've seen great results in myself and also age everyone. Why classical form of dance as one of the options? Because it again, it first of all, it is close to the roots. So the way you are learning the dance as part of this learning, I teach my kids, especially the values, the way you dress up, right? You have a certain dressing style. If you see me, I have a bindi, I have earrings, I have bangles. Like you're not gonna wear shorts and learn this dance. So there's like a respect. You're as part of this, you're learning those values, cultural values. So I think it comes in as part of learning this classical form of dance. The other thing I said is grace, adding that grace. You are a girl. I'm a girl. I'm a woman. I want to look more beautiful and I want to be more graceful. So there is certain ways that I have learned as learning this dance, even when I was an adult. How do you sit down? How do you get up when you're sitting down? How do you kind of pause when someone's talking? That's what I teach you. There are a lot of those sort of values, which I am sure you don't find when learning, the hip hop stuff. Say, it's like I'm not, I'm sure you're not aware of this. So any classical form of dance, especially this Indian one, it can help you learn, how to have that close relationship to your culture. And then it is also, making you learn how to add grace to your body and as well as be more calm. And I feel like it helps you also improve your focus and the ability to kind of uh, respect the culture too.
Right. Like so dancing kind of becomes like more of like a lifestyle instead of just like in class. Like it you carry it even after you
Outside. Correct.
stop dancing if eventually that becomes the case, right?
Yeah, I've seen my students come and tell me, like, oh, I was trying to go to the party and then I was sitting in this certain way, and the way you taught us to get up, how to get out from that position and not just like put your hands on the floor and like get up. That's not a girl. You like what you what you want. I mean, I'm not enforcing something, but then I feel like it's gonna be a little challenging to be able to make that part of your daily routine. Eventually, it'll just show, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like a natural thing for you. Very organically, it'll help you
Right. Right.
practice.
That's great. Also, I think we didn't mention this before, but while you were talking about how you dress, and we didn't talk about how Bharatanatyam dancers usually dress when they perform. So, if you want to go ahead and explain a little bit.
Sure, I actually had my dress shown up. It's like upstairs. I really actually put it aside to show. So even today, like I'm gonna go to my dance class today, the performing company, even though I'm an adult, I'm expected to dress in a more like a cotton or some sort of a tunic wear, and then I'm gonna have to use what I call as a scarf, or which can cover your upper body, like your chest area, and we are asked to basically either have a ponytail, some sort of tying your hair, either not just lace, not to leave it open. The openness is again not showing you're more like uh, more aggressive, ferocious. I don't know. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
you're like more disciplined and
Right. Yeah.
just having. I mean, again, the bindi, the earrings. These are all like girls' ornaments, just like something to just like help you again stick to our culture and tradition. Awesome.
Right.
That's the way, at least the minimal thing I would recommend is having a tunic, a comfortable legging or some sort of a pants, and then having a scarf which goes around and then which helps you. And the whole idea is staying comfortable, which can help you be in that posture and anything.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, so that's like when you practice, right? So like when I have class also I have to wear like the tunic and the scarf and make sure my hair is back, right? Presentable. And so how about like when we're performing, like the makeup, the hair, the jewelry, like we have a lot.
Yes, that's a lot. You know that. Yeah, that's a lot. So the whole idea when I talk to students, because every time I talk to someone and there's a performance coming, the kids especially, and they're why the whole Armandi? I tell them there's a whole plan to the dress, it's a very
Mhm.
rich costume that you have seen, and it is like either custom switched to your personality and the dancer, or it's kind of ready to buy it. And then the whole idea is to be able to show that character very clearly with the plan sort of style. And there are different colors, very bright, rich colors you can add. And the jewelry has the headpiece, the sun and the moon decoration, ornaments on the head. And there's like a hand armlet. There's bells, traditional bells, which only if you are actually ready to start performing on your stage and if you are your I guess religious prayer ceremony and you would do that. The whole idea is just trying to even give respect and pay respect to Goddess Earth because you're on this earth and then you're trying to give respect saying that I'm gonna be the same thing, but please this and then I know. So there's each one has a certain value and then the way you do your authentic, traditional namaskaram
Mhm.
has a meaning to it, right? And the makeup, I think, just because abhinaya, it's all the facial expression. Very important to highlight those eyes because it does show your expressive clearly. And then usually if you have a chance, we usually tell you to put some, I guess a red marker or what we call a henna or something
Mhm.
highlight the fingers because you're always using your hand gestures and that should show your palms clearly and
Right.
to show that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all a sense, it's very rich and traditional and very bright and it's real. It looks very good once you're all dressed and it clearly can distinguish your facial expression with all that makeup and
Mhm.
body language.
Right. Yeah. So for people who have never seen the dress before, like at the bottom where you have your armandi and here in the middle part, there's pleats that will, when you bend, they will open up. And so that's why a lot of times your teacher will continuously tell you to make sure you have your perfect armandi so that you make sure that all your pleats will open when you perform. And it's so beautiful when you see it happen. And like with our makeup, we have always very, very bright and distinguished eyes, like a lot of eyeliner, and it's very like precise in the way we dress. So
Right.
yeah. And also you mentioned like namaskaram for like when we start. So we like do a small prayer and we um, kind of just thank Mother Earth for letting us dance and yeah, so
And then
and
you have, yeah, you do have like the supreme power, like, and then we do one in the middle. We say usually is the Guru, and then just here, right here at the near your, is more to the kind of
right,
doing as part of your when you're bending down and doing the namaskaram. That's towards Mother God or Goddess Earth.
right, yeah, okay. Is there anything else you want to add that we didn't get to talk about yet?
Um, Nothing. I mean, I guess I would like you to explain as kind of what is your, I guess, goal or what is your idea and kind of to do this. What are you kind of learning in this way?
Can you repeat the last part there? It cut out for.
No, I was asking, I would like to understand more from you once again, as what is your intentions, or what is your goal in being able to perform, and what are you looking to learn from this?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been dancing for a very long time, and so I started off with like ballet and Bharatanatyam, and now like I love it. Like at first, like I was forced to learn Bharatanatyam, like it wasn't my choice really, but now like it's my favorite thing, and I love it so much. And so like with Why Dance, which is like my website, and um I think it's just like to learn more because I know like I've been doing the dancing, but I haven't been doing so much of the learning of the history and everything. And I think talking to people like you who've been dancing for so long and do it like so much more than like I could even imagine. Like you're so committed to dance. And so I think like learning from people just like this in conversation will like really just help me grow so much. So I think, and also for people watching, like I know like there's probably millions of people out there who have never even heard of Bharatanatyam, and so just trying to like spread the information to other people as well. So
Yeah, I definitely think this is a great way. Like, I mean, you're learning different forms of dance forms already and styles, ballet and Bharatanatyam too. But I think with that cultural background, even the apprentice program that I've applied, why do I want to do this? Because I want to be able to, spread that more. For me, to another one, I want to just spread. The idea is just like you said, not everybody knows about it. The more they know, the more they can appreciate, and the
right.
more they learn from it.
Right. And so with this, even like I do Bharatanatyam, so some of this stuff isn't new to me, but I really want to get a chance to talk to people who maybe like do Irish dancing or Chinese dancing, or like people like from everywhere, so like I can learn about those things as well. So
Yeah, definitely. I think, as your future goal, I would definitely recommend you try to learn and like,
yeah.
come up with this sort of a program. I think yoga dance is the new thing that, what I wanted to do more. It's like incorporating yoga and meditation and kind of into a form of Bharatanatyam. Basically the Bharatanatyam dance pose. It's not going to be more, but it'll be more this yoga. It's something we should really.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if you know the theory. The one last thing, like as I'm teaching every summer, I do teach to kids. I did one recent one in Perkins Arts here, like a dance camp. So when I
Mm-hmm.
teach, even though I'm teaching some other like dances for kids' perspective, I do take one lesson just to teach them the theory about Indian classical dance. The reason I do is the way I kind of want to tell you is each of these hand gestures, if you are familiar with yoga meditation, go read about it. Every hand gesture that I am making here right now, the reason is a very, very, very strong belief, and I still believe that the hand gestures, when the fingers touch each other, it generates energy. The energy is positive energy. If you see anybody meditating, the hand gestures are these, right? So similarly, the more hand gestures are together, like touching the fingertips, is more positive energy generated. So each of these mudras has a very strong connection to Vedic, mythology and meditation. We can continue reading and learning and teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
There's
definitely a great asset that we all can learn from and add to us.
yeah. Yeah, there's so much to learn about Bharatanatyam. Like I know, like you could read for days, for months about the dance. So
At the end of the day, like the whole thing that I achieve from this is just more energy. I do multiple things, and I feel like this one thing, dance, I would not call it a more like a stress free, stress buster that somebody called. I don't want to call it. It's kind of like an energy booster for me. It's
hmm
positive energy. If I'm feeling I'm weak today and I want to be able to generate some energy, I go in my basement, do a few aerobics, and
hmm
re-energize. So I
right.
think this one is, you can take it in that sense, even to the young generation. just giving you more positive energy.
Great. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Thank you. Thanks, Kavya. Thank, this is
Yeah,
great. I've been
of
looking at
course.
the website. I will be looking more to learn from there. I've been
Of
suggesting,
course.
and I think it will be a nice to be connected and next. Thank
Thank you.
you. Good luck.
Thank you. Great. So that it was amazing talking to you. I learned so much in like the past few minutes. So yeah, anyone watching, make sure you check out the website. We're going to be adding more interviews and more posts. And if anyone else would like to help out with the website, you can make interviews, you can write posts, anything would be great. So just make sure you contact me in the contact section and we can talk about what you want to add. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.